Real men want spiritual equity. We don't want to know how much you make. Not if you're a real man. You're gonna probably hear me hit home with that all night as long as we're on the show. Real men. I'm speaking about real men, not a man who wants his woman to be a roommate, or a man who not don't have any ambitions, who are not trying to accomplish anything or go out there and try to get anything. Not that kind of man. That's not what we're talking. We're talking about a real man who understands his I'm gonna say it like this: his duty, his real duty that God has bestowed upon him. That man, that kind of brother, the one they made back, when we was in the 30s and the 40s and 50s and 60s, right? Before all this independent thing that was ushered in. I'm talking about real men. Real men at the end of the day really just want spiritual equity. And equity is really another way of saying fairness. Fairness, right? Or if you in a certain business, let me put it like that. If you're in a certain business, the difference of whatever you make off of your sale, that could mean the equity aspect of it. That's the equity. That's the value of it. He wants the value of the relationship. That's what he wants. He wants the equity. He wants the fairness of the equity. Let me pause for just a second. So I need to give my co-host Tim. I think he's having some trouble with his mic also. If you can hear me okay, just chat out to me, Tim, and I'll make sure that I go and make some adjustments to the let me make sure here. Hold on just a second. I gotta make sure my co-host here can hear me okay and that he's all right. Okay, can you hear me better? If you can't hear me at all, just chat out, or you can come over to Instagram, because I think it's something to do with your mic on your phone. All systems are go on my side, so we'll just continue to press forward. But again, we're talking about this even on episode 53. Your money, so what? Real men want spiritual equity. So as I was saying, the spiritual equity part of this, that's what is being left out. The spiritual equity part. Men do not care about how much you make. Real men don't. And let me set this backdrop with this right here, because I gotta come from the scripture aspect. So it's not like I'm just rambling and just throwing something out there into the environment and don't have no substantial evidence or proof of evidence, as they say, for what I'm talking about. I'm gonna show you a video that's going to support that in just a second as well. And it talks about in the scripture that husbands are the protectors. Listen to the language good. Husbands are the protectors and maintainers of their wives, because God has given the one more strength than the other. And because they support them, the men are the one who's supporting, because they support them from their means. Therefore, the righteous woman, she's devoutly compliant and supportive, and she guard in the absence of her husband, meaning that when he's at work out there taking care of business and handling business, whenever he's gone, she's protecting his interests. She's protecting his interests. So she's not at home all day doing nothing and waiting on Mr. Goodbar to drop by and knock on her door while her husband is off on the road driving trucks, or however he's making his money in the real estate or investing or whatever he's doing to make sure that he's paying all the bills, that he's maintaining the situation. Okay? So I know a lot of guys wrestle with this, because I wrestled with it many, many years ago. I wrestled with it because I didn't quite understand it, because I was like, well, if you're in a marriage relationship, then it's 50-50, right? Or it should be 50-50. And so she should bring her half and I should bring my half, so to speak. But thank God, I was able to elevate my thinking and remove my own selfish ego out of the way and look at what God was saying instead of what I wanted to say. Yeah. And we heard about the song 50-50. And thank you, Blessings, for putting that out there. She said 50-50 question mark. But we heard about the song with 50-50 Love by Teddy Pendergrass, right? I want a 50-50 love. Feels so good, right? But God is saying in this particular verse that the husbands are the protectors and the maintainers. They provide the maintenance. They are the providers. Okay? Now, because there are roles that each and every one of us have to play. Now, of course, I understand we live in America, right? We live in America. And in America, it really supports like if you're in a two-parent home, two-family home, whatever the case may be, um, it will require you, because this is a capitalistic society, so it will require you to go out there and really have to get it right, both individuals. If you inspire to have a really like a affluent lifestyle, an affluent lifestyle, America will make you go out there and get it, or push the woman out into the work field. But truthfully understanding this, it's still based upon what God is saying. It is still the man's responsibility. It is not the woman's responsibility. And what that's going to do, it's going to allow the man to become a man, right? If he has the shoulders, see these shoulders right here. If he has the shoulders to absorb that load, then he'll go out there and do what he have to do by any means necessary. That's legal. Let me put that out there. That's legal. Meanwhile, it doesn't mean that the woman can't have her own career. It doesn't mean that she can't go out there and make her own money if she chooses to. But she should be provided options. And far too many times, again and again, we've seen where Black women, African American women, don't have options. They don't have options. They're not given some of the same treatment, the same options that many other women of different ethnic groups are given. And so this narrative needs to be changed. But there is a role that we each have to fulfill, because even if a man is out there taking care of business, he's handling business every day, doing what he's supposed to do, then women, ladies, you have a responsibility to him, and you have an obligation to him. And whatever the obedience or the or compliance is really not so much to him than it is the command of God. See, this is what God set up. It's really more of a command coming from God. You're really being obedient or compliant to what God is asking you to do. That's the obedience part. That's the part when people be talking about, a man wants someone to be submissive. You're not submitting to him. Don't make that mistake. Oh no. You're not submitting to him. You're submitting to the command of what God has already established through Scripture. That's what you're complying to. That's the discipline part of this, right? Because he's out there maintaining and trying to go to work every day to provide for his household. Now, let me put a disclaimer on something, because I understand. I hear some of the women probably be saying, I'm gonna put some of the quotes up in just a second. So again, I want to welcome everybody still coming on to Facebook Live, as well as joining me on IG, as well as the YouTube channel. Let me preface something right quick, because I can hear, women may be saying, yeah, that's right. Yeah, men, I shouldn't be a roommate. Men should be doing this. They should be doing that, or whatever the case may be. Or let's just say if you're with someone and you're thinking that he's not meeting your expectations, right? And let me say this to the brothers also who's listening. The expectation you should have of yourself should be the expectation that God has given you. The same thing I said about the woman being obedient to God's command. You have to be obedient to God's command, and you have to have expectations of yourself and what God has expected of you. Okay, so I hope you got that. That's really important information. You, individuals, have to take a real good look in the mirror, and you have to understand what is the expectations I have of myself. Furthermore, what is expected from God for me? What do God expect of me? Those are the conversations that we need to be having. But let me also, again, I want to say this, ladies, understand something here, because again, this is America. We're still, last time I checked, we're still under capitalism. We're not under socialism, communism, any of that. So please understand, if a brother have ambitions, and you're asking him, what did you do today? Or how do things look tomorrow? Or I'm needing this, or I'm needing that. And he tell you, hold on, baby, be patient. Wait a minute. I'm striving. I'm trying to get it. You understand? Then you have to be patient. Because that's one of the things that you have, for those of you who have followed this platform for over the past year and a half, this is one of the things we normally talk about the reason why you have so many couples who dissolve their relationships is because neither one wants to be patient with one another. We want it then, right now, and it doesn't matter. We want it right now. And that's a big issue and a big problem, especially in the African American community. But again, if he's an individual who's striving, he has ambitions, he has a vision, he sees it. The same way Katherine Jackson saw Joe Jackson, right? The same way, many women who have allowed their man to go back to school or go back to trade school or take some type of trade to better himself or come up with a business idea or say he has a business to start that he wants to start, that at some point will involve you. You have to be patient. You can't allow your emotions to supersede your patience. You can't do that. So let me remind you all. These things are critical. It requires critical thinking. Let me put this up. Blessings from Facebook. Welcome, Blessings. Thank you for coming on to Facebook this evening. She states that I knew a guy that made more money than me, and he was looking for a 50-50. Made more money looking for a 50-50. This is exactly what we're talking about. This is why we're doing a topic that's either your money, so what? Real men want spiritual equity. Now, in a situation like that, he's making more money than you. If he was in a conscious state of mind, because obviously, when I'm talking away, when I quote scripture, I try to abide by that to the best of my ability. None of us, as I said several weeks ago, none of us are infallible, right? But if we were striving for perfection, if we're striving to go after our own pursuit of happiness, some of you saw the video, and I should play this, but I'm just gonna go ahead because some of you saw the video of the great classic movie Mahogany, right? And Billy D in that classic line, what he tell her when she said that she was a success. He said, "Let me tell you something, and don't you forget it. Success isn't nothing without someone you love to share it with. Success isn't nothing without someone you love to share it with." In a situation like that, this individual, Blessings, this is based on scripture. It ain't based on my personal opinion. This individual, he has to level up, as they say. He has to come into his own critical thinking, own conscious thinking with a conscious mind to be able to say, okay, God placed me in a position to be the maintainer. I just read the scripture, right? Husbands are the maintainers. Now, I don't know if he, if it was one of those relationships. I mean, even under common law, I have to put that out there because I get this. We are an American. I understand all of the other stuff. Some people can feel like, well, there's no ring involved. There's no dower that's been given involved. So why should I do X, Y, Z? Well, that's another thing we need to talk about because we have to have better selections and make better choices. But if you're on the right course and doing or following that command of what God is saying, then you will understand that there has to be an end game to this. So whether if you was a girlfriend, a fiance, or striving to be a fiance, then a fiance striving to be a wife, this still applies because somewhere down the road, finances will come into play. So this is what I'm talking about. Women have to be patient with men if they have these ambitions and they're striving, they're trying to set something up, some businesses, or waiting on to better their education to get that higher paying job. Because anything that you do, understand, will be a blessing. Will be a blessing. But now, what is the flip side of all of this? What is the flip side of all? I'm gonna share this with you, and I'm gonna play this video again while we still have people coming on, right? To give us some more support of what I'm trying to say this evening. The flip side is simply this: even if he didn't make more than you, Blessing, and you made more than him, guess what? He's still obligated to be the maintainer. According to the scripture now, not according to Jabril, according to scripture. He still is obligated to be the protector and the maintainer of women or his woman, okay? So it doesn't change. But what that does mean is simply this. You may have aspirations to live in a $500,000 house, okay? However, his income may only allow you all to live in a $250,000 house. So what that simply means is you have to be able to live under the conditions based upon what his income would allow him to afford. That's what that means. Now, if you say, well, hey, you know what? I don't mind chipping in, then cool. Guess what? You get the blessings. That's what they call in the Semitic language called sadaqah. It means that it's not just charity. When you do sadaqah, you're doing a little bit more. You're going above a little bit more. So that's the beauty in it. That's the blessing in it. So don't ever take it for granted that whatever you're doing extra, that God doesn't see it and it's not being accounted for, because you'll get that. So I'm gonna show this next video to give y'all a little bit of black backdrop. And we'll continue further with tonight's episode. Again, your money, so what? Real men want spiritual equity.
A new study compares college-educated Black women to white female counterparts. That research shows Black women are 53% less likely to marry another educated Black man with a degree.
You have gone on to college and developed your career, your business. Like, I want to be in a relationship. We're still not taught about men. We still don't understand. I believe that 99.9% of women, single women, do not understand men.
Because usually people meet in college. That's almost the narrative we were fed. Go to college, find you a good man. And that narrative now, it really is being questioned. So there's a lot for us to unpack when it comes to dating, marriage for Black women who are educated.
I think your education will be a good selling point for the man that you end up with, like to marry and stuff like that.
Why wouldn't it be? You've got a highly educated woman as a wife.
Statistically.
Hold on. The fact of the matter is, do you think men really care about where you went to school, what you went to school for?
I think so. Yes, they do. I think.
Really? How many men have said that to you?
Not really. Really? You don't think you want to...
How many men have said that to you? Okay.
You know, when women, the higher IQ a woman has, the less likely she is to get married. That's by statistic.
Damn. Well, sorry, I'm not dumb.
If you made it this far.
So again, you hear what they're talking about education. I know I played that one earlier, but I wanted some, people that are still logging on to hear that same video as I go through these videos. Guys don't really ask about your education. You may volunteer that information, but they don't really ask about your education. You know why? Because men, real men, emphasizing real men again, understand that no matter what, we still got to go out there and get it. We still have to go out there and do what we're designed to do. So they're not interested in that. They're not interested in that. Now I'm going to play another video I want you all to pay attention to, because here's a sister who seemed to have it together, but she can't find a man that really understands what she got going on or who would even approach her.
I'm feeling sexy. I'm feeling like I look good. My hair is freshly washed and pressed. But you ain't gonna believe this. Wait. You're not really finna believe this. Ain't nobody finna talk to me. I mean, like, not one man is gonna step to me and say, "What's good, ma?" Like, not one man is gonna have the gall to come push up on me and offer to buy me a drink. And you see, I don't understand why I be getting so fine, because who am I doing it for? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing it because I got a husband at home and I want him to think I look sexy, okay? So if you see me out and, you feel like you're a good candidate for me, and I would feel like you're a good candidate for me also, holler at me. Otherwise, I'm going to go home by myself again tonight. But I'm going to wake up single tomorrow again. Damn.
The men say, yo, we want this. You can't just keep saying, nah, it don't matter what y'all want. I'm still a good woman. Good to who? You have to be good to the consumer. They gotta buy what you selling. Amen. They buying what you selling, then what? Think about it. When you go to a job interview, right? You don't come in there saying, I do marketing great. They're like, but ma'am, this is an accounting position. I honestly feel like women, we are the worst when it comes to this. Yeah. Because dudes are telling us every day physique is a big thing to them. But we like, oh, but I'm smart and I got a business. No one gives a...
And she closed. If you all can hear me on Instagram, you can shout out to it, and I'll read your comments as well. But the sister in the end, she says that we sitting there talking about, I got a business going and all that. And she said, oh, well, who gives a hoot? When it comes from a male's perspective. This is one of the biggest mistakes again that I see a lot of women are making when they're trying to have a selling point. What they basically do a lot of times when you meet these brothers, it kind of alienates them. Because they're trying to see, well, how do I fit in your life? If you got all this going on, if you have all of this going on, then how am I even relevant in your life. What am I here for, right? Because what you've basically done, if you have erased, you've erased his natural propensity, the natural innately ability of what God has blessed him with. You've basically taken that off the table. So he feels as though he has nothing to offer, nothing to share, which is why I say again about the spiritual equity. Your money is your money. That's why I put it like that. Your money is your money. Real men are not concerned about your money. Real men are concerned about their legacy. You know, if they're going to have children in the marriage, where someone would be able to carry on their name, their legacy, their household. You know, making sure that he's in a position as a great provider, making sure that he's providing the things so he can get out of the relationship the things that he desires, right? Because it's a give and take thing, right? You know, I always say everybody gets used, everything gets used, and everybody gets used. But it's when you misuse something. And as long as you're not misusing one another. And women, and I'm gonna say this, a lot of the sisters out there, stop listening to these sisters who already have a man, or they still upset about what happened last year or 10 or 20 years ago. You know, stop listening to those women, because I heard another post that I saw. This sister gave some of the most craziest advice to this sister, the most stupidest advice to this sister. It was just horrendous, because she was telling this sister, girl, if he don't want you to wear this, go ahead and put it on anyway. Girl, if he don't, and it was just a whole list. I can't remember everything that she was saying. Some of you may have seen the video or not. And I was so proud to see the real women. We talking about real men, the real women. Because I read a lot of the comments, and even they was pushing that narrative back. Even they was talking about, no, this is the problem now. This is one of the reasons why, you know, some of these women reject that term about being a superwoman. You know, being that strong Black woman. Heck, you know, if we've been around here in this life long enough, we know that Black women are strong. I don't think you need to go to the mountain and shout that out real loud. Black women, to me, are it's been established, when I use the word the or the, established, is the strongest female species on the face of this earth. I really believe that. I really believe that. And so when certain friends of mine say to me, Jabir, it seems like you sometimes you kind of hard on us. You hard on the ladies. It's not that I'm so much hard on you. I got a lot of love for women, because I know you all are the cornerstone. God created your womb out of darkness, and you are the cornerstone. You are paradise, and paradise awaits at your feet. So without you all, this whole civilization would be just barbarism. And what happens, though, over a course of period of time is when you start to lose self-knowledge of oneself, because a man or woman who has no knowledge of themselves, they're nothing but a beast animal. They're acting out like a beast animal. And that's what you see. There's no decorum. There's no standards. So, yes, it's cool for me to jump out of my car and start twerking in the middle of the street, or going over to Ghana, where they had the slave went to visit the slaves of the door of no return, and 4 Black women get on top of the monument and started twerking. I said, are you serious? So yes, we have to hold one another to that high standard. We have to change the narrative. We have to change the narrative. So again, I want to see, Tim, if you can hear me okay. I want to bring you up to the stage. I'm hearing a clicking. You can hear me, but you can't, your mic, is it unmuted?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, fine. Okay, good. Let me turn your mic down a little bit. Great. I didn't know or not, because I didn't see you chat out. Okay, well, I got my co-host Tim with me. He's up, and I want to bring him on now. Go ahead, Tim. I've been speaking, man, and I didn't even know your mic was, if you was able to get your mic back on. But go ahead. Welcome to the show this evening, my co-host Tim Jackson.
And you've been expounding and laying out some and just kind of laying down you know, get a whole lot of perspectives on what is going on. But there's a few more, you know, that's out there. You know, when I think about this, and you were saying something earlier, and it made me say, hey, where's my helpmate? Right? Because God don't mention anything about a percentage. Man makes percentages. Man created that. So it's not a percentage. It doesn't even matter what a percentage is, because when you decide to become as one, you are one. That's percentage, 100, 1. So there is no percentage needed because we are one. And so we do things to make our family work. And there are roles that are best suited for men and best suited for women. There are natural laws. God created natural laws in the universe for us to follow. It's real simple. It's a man and a woman. We female and male. There's masculine and feminine energy. Men and women both have masculine and female energy, feminine energy. We have them both. Men major in masculine. Men use feminine to caress and show people they care. Men use masculine because that's a part of who they are naturally. Women have masculine energy as well too, but they actually more pervasive with feminine energy, and that's the energy that actually brings us to. So when we talk about spiritual, those are spiritual connections that come together. Men don't care about money from a woman at all, because it doesn't mean anything. Because when a woman makes more and she has the wrong attitude, because we care more about your attitude and your mindset. If your attitude and your mindset right, it don't matter what money you make, because we're going to combine together and make things happen. That's just what we're going to do. And if you got a woman who actually multiplies, when you bring something to her, then you actually going to multiply your wealth together. So you're going to have a wealthy family together, because you have the mindset to bring and actually being together. But if she has the wrong mindset, this is spiritual. If she actually has the wrong attitude, this is spiritual. She will not bring that mindset of actually multiplying together. She will bring that individual mindset, because she's not with you. She's not joined to you. So a woman is not joined. I don't even know why she got married in the first place, but a woman's not joined to a man, or a man not joined to a woman. But we're speaking about women at this time, not joined. They don't connect. They don't do the things that need to be done. And so how did we get here in the first place? If we think about how we got here, we started out to where that women start to have a transactional. We'll say what's going on now. There's a mindset that was going on that's really pervasive, and now we've had the videos now where women are coming back and say, "Hold up, she don't speak for me," and where there was a pervasive attitude that actually relationship become transactional. So women have said, "Hey, I want this kind of man to pay for this and do all that." Not even worry about the natural laws, but more seeing a transactional situation. And men say, "Oh, wait a minute, if relationship going to be transactional, then why should I get married?" And so with that, some other women have come out and said, "Hey, no. Oh, them women are speaking for themselves. They're the one who got caught up in the independent black woman liberation type of deal. We're not that. There are other women like us. There's a lot more of us than you realize. So men, don't get caught up in that. We are real. So check out our spiritual. Check out who we are as people. But this is the other part of that. This is for the women. How did women get here? Trust. Women got there. They moved to that spot. They just moved because of being independent. They moved there because trust. They were lacking trust in black men. But you know who were really lacking trust in? Themselves. Women didn't trust themselves anymore, because they didn't trust their ability to discern what is good for them, what is not. Think of how many women that are actually in pain. Some of them, they're in so much pain, they don't even want love no more. I had a woman tell me, because of her marriage for a number of years, that, "Hey, I'm not looking for love." Huh? And then to tell me next, she's a godly woman. How you gonna be a godly woman, which God is love?
How them two go together? Right.
Love in a relationship. Right. Exactly. So I'm like, okay, that don't make any sense. You don't actually understand what it means to be that. So your spiritual is off. Right. Until your spiritual is correct, you won't have the relationship you're looking for, and you'll be in a transactional relationship, and transactionals don't last long. They transition quickly. Right. So her lack of patience and her lack of discernment and her lack of trust in herself to find what she really desires, what a true heart desire is, which is a love and spiritual connection and a financial safety net. She wanted, of course. She wanted a financial safety net, but she didn't trust herself to be able to find that. So she said, screw love. And then screwing love, what she's going to do is she's going to push away the most important part of a relationship, the spiritual connection. Because that's what everybody wants, the soul tie. You don't get married for unless you're doing a business, you might well be a business meeting. And a lot of men are saying this. They're saying this. if it's gonna be all about business, then I'll just make transactions. I won't make marriage. So a lot of men are not gonna commit, at least not to the women that actually they keep hearing talking. All these women talking about transactional. Hey, you got to make this, you got to do this, you got to pay for all this, you got to pay for this. And guys like, I'm gonna be paying for all that for what? And then you telling me, there's a lot of women out here because now they got the sites talking about there's a lot of women out here that were just going to lunch to get a meal. So on a dating, they're not even going to intention. They're going to date to just get a meal. They say, oh yeah, I only date for intention, but they actually going for a meal. It's a high percentage of them. And so men are like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on, wake up. Let's wake up here, guys.
And that's what's happening.
They don't love us. They don't know what love is.
That's what's happening.
It's temporary for them. Love is temporary. What are you doing for me lately? What did Janice say? What you doing for me lately?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So all the songs coming in a row, that independent love and all that stuff. So men are like, okay, let's not do this. And we can't have that because we came on the show because we know that black love is the most powerful thing in this universe. Nothing more powerful than our love. Matter of fact,
when done right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I certainly agree. No, I was just saying when done right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I certainly agree. When done right, black love is such a strong force. It's one of the reasons why I truly believe that they divided up the families the way they did during slavery, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always talk about causation. Every cause has an effect, and that's been a long effect. And I try to tell people, it's like if you went around the world to fight in the military, right? Join the army to fight for the United States government, and you saw all this mayhem, and you came back and nobody debriefed you. That's when you started to go postal. That was a real popular term, at one time. Oh, he went postal or she went postal, right? Well, that trauma still affects or has an effect on us as children of former slaves because we never was debriefed. Everything that we've done has been organically created. What am I talking about? Well, look at the world of hip hop. That just, or was organically created, right? Because when you look at the resources, and I'm tying this into resources, the financial aspect of this, it seems as if there are other groups or ethnic groups who have had their resources or opportunities, whether if it was the diamond industry, the oil industry, the coconut industry, the chocolate industry. Well, over here in America, what industry did we develop or did we create? What industry, right? So God blessed us with the hip hop industry. And the issue or the problem now, what you see is things being muddied up now. There are things that are being very murky, right? And that's one of the things I did on my other Blac-Vocracy podcast, the one mic, which is come out weekdays. I did an episode called Black Orientation, the resetting of the mind. Black orientation, the resetting of the mind. We have to reset. In life, you have to reset. If you think that going through life, that you're not going to have to pause at some point and reflect and take a look back on how far you've traveled on the road of life, then you're really kidding yourself. Because again, we wasn't debriefed. We've been trying to figure this thing out organically since we've been here. And I truly believe this is what causes a lot of pain, hurt, and disappointment in these relationships. And why come people are impatient with one another and people don't want to give a lot of time to one another. And I understand it because time is our greatest commodity, right? So I do get that. But we have to be able to learn each other all over again, or our numbers will continue to be driven so high to where it's going to be almost no coming back from. And that's why we got to get ahead of this thing, because right now there is a state of emergency within our community. And we've been talking about this again for over a year now. I choose to take the disposition or have the disposition to be able to try to throw my hat in the ring by being able to say, you know what, I at least have to be able to discharge my duty and to be able to try to raise these issues and try to find some type of solution. We all have to do that. We all have to get in the game of life and go out and try to, push back this narrative that women are capable of being superwoman. women are capable, and specifically black women, are capable of doing it all by themselves. That ain't what God intended. It's not. It's just not what God intended. And there are those. It's funny that you say that. I want to piggyback on something you said a second ago, Tim, regarding the lady that you met or whom you knew, and she was talking about what she wasn't interested in, but at the same time, she said claimed to be a godly fearing woman. I saw something again from a lady, and I mean, it just really made the hairs on the back of my neck just stand up, man. She actually posted something talking about how she's not interested in anything except sex. This was on a post, on a TikTok post or whatever. This is what she said, that she was only interested if a guy was catching feelings or this, that, another. She's not interested in that. Period. All she was interested in was the sexual application of the relationship. And in my mind, you know what I said to myself? You know, it's funny, man. It's funny. It's real funny how when you go get that regular checkup and the doctor come back and hand you that news, you know what? You got that package, or you got uterus cancer, breast cancer. You know what I'm saying? To get that kind of news, your disposition changes so fast. Your mind sober up so fast. And I asked myself that question. I said, do she really understand what she's saying? Or is this just the narrative now? Is this the platform of what people are trying to project upon other people? Because because if that's the issue, if that's the narrative or the new narrative or so-called new normalcy, then man, Houston, we got a problem. We got a serious problem in our community. When you have women saying this, when we have women saying this. So I'm gonna read some of the comments. Give me just a second, because I know I see the comments being lit up here. Yeah, I'm gonna bring Blessings up because she's always chatting out real good. She says, yeah, sure does, changes real quick. It changes real quick. And I don't think people are really in their conscious state of mind when they say certain things, blurt out certain things, because they're not under a pressure type situation. So it's easy. That's why I always say, you hear me say sometimes pearl lips to say anything. It's very easy to say what you want to say when the heat is not on. Kind of like when Bobby Womack said in the song Across 110th Street. He said, you don't know what you'll do until you put under pressure. But Across 110th Street is a hell of a tester. Yeah, it's good to say that. It sounds good because Satan has schemed you, because he's gotten into your narrative. You want to be the story. You don't want to read the story. You want to become the story. So now he done got into the scheme of what you're saying. So you project that on the other people or young girls or young minds who listen to this foolishness. So I'm calling on all men. And I think the bell has been rung, Tim. I really believe that the bell has been rung because, man, there's a lot of brothers, man. A lot of brothers who are waking up now from the couch, who have dozed off. You know, the other time you get behind the steering wheel of life, you'll doze off. But if you do, you're going to mess around and wreck out. You may even drive over a cliff, right? But brothers are beginning to wake up and help push this narrative back, saying, hold on, yeah, we've been retarded. Let me say that. Yeah, we've been thinking retardedly of the mind, of the intellect, and we have allowed this foolishness to go on. Yeah, I was a little bit weak because she kind of subdued me with her sexual capacity, her sexual nature. But now you begin to think above your base urges and start using the keys of your mind to unlock that wisdom, that knowledge, that understanding. Now you're starting to see what it is. Because now women are some, let me underline that, put that in parentheses, some women trying to play the game the way some guys do. Now guys waking up to it, realizing that, man, I've been doing all this. Now I'm busting my woman. She's doing this and doing that. Yeah. And I was going to actually play this song, but I'm going to do it probably some other time. But this song they get up, I think this little rapper named Lido or Lato or whatever her name is, talking about girls are players too. Really? See, this is the kind of foolishness that we, and all we hear is the beat. Right? Because that's one of those beats they sampled. It was a classical song back in the day, but she sampled that song, right? A hip-hop song. But then she put the lyrics in there, girls are players too. We got to change the narrative, my brother. But before we go, let me talk. This is, we're coming up on 30 minutes on the hour here, and I want to get into this other video real quick so we can continue to, establish what we're talking about this evening on episode 53. Your money, so what? Real men want spirituality or spirit equity. Excuse me, spirituality. Yeah, spirituality or spiritual equity.
A lot of us make more money than men, and that blows y'all egos real bad.
We don't care about your pockets because we all know that if I'm making money, my money is your money and your money is your money. So it's like, it doesn't really matter to us because men have a burden of performance to perform, meaning that we have to provide for a woman and we have to provide security to that woman. If not, we know it's a time clock ticking where she's going to lose attraction for us and she's going to kick us to the curb. There's two types of men. There's two types of men that has the drive, ambition, and that's a leader, and that's a go-getter, and that's going to make something of himself, and that can provide you a future. And there's the other that's lazy. So what I'm saying is that you're just choosing the laziness, and you're seeing that laziness in him, but you're converting that to him being insecure, and you emasculating him from all of your drive. He's not emasculated. He's just a lazy broke nigga. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Most men are not looking for a woman to provide for him, which is why the job doesn't mean much for him. Because most guys think about it like, I want to work as if the bills depend upon me, if the family depends upon me. He's not thinking, oh, we're teammates, we put the money together and all that stuff. No, he thinks about, I'm ambitious, I'm driven, I want the buck to stop at me. So therefore, he's not fascinating about the girl and her job and her career. It doesn't do as much for the guy, if any at all.
Okay, I'm going to replay that in just a second, so I want to read a comment. I'm going to come back and play that video again. Very important video because the first brother was saying exactly what I was talking about earlier and how I established my point based on the topic of this evening's show. He stated it. He stated it. Men are not worrying about your money. Real men are not. Because what did he say? There are two types of men. Two types of men. You have the one that's ambitious, right? And then you have the other one who's just a lazy brother. And women, you have to understand the difference of the two. One is just, it takes time to get to where he's trying to go, especially if he's done it before. You have to be really someone who is really, who has a low IQ or just so self-centered that you don't see the bigger picture. This man actually did it before and has all of the qualities that you will hope for in him, and yet you become impatient. And this is what happens. So let me get to what Blessing, she says that, let me make sure I pull up the right one. Okay, she said that some women have gotten to the point that if they keep getting hurt while trying to be serious, then they turn and do the same thing being done to them. That's, yeah, right. Sum it up, hurt people, right? Hurt people, hurt other people. Yes, that's so true. But Tim, you want to speak to that?
Well, that kind of goes back to what I was speaking about, trusting yourself and believing yourself. She's lost her trust of herself, meaning her trust in God as well. So when you lack that trust, you can't see anymore. You're blind. So you say, hey, I was blind and now I see. Well, she's blind. She still don't see because she can't even see herself. So she's now moved to her lower chakras, her lower vibration, her lower frequency, and she's going to hurt other people. Give them the same thing they're giving to her. And all that does is hurt more people. So there's more hurt people out, right? More people who don't trust anymore. More people that are fractured. More relationships are fractured in the Black community. We can't do that. We can't afford that. Why do we think it's okay for us to do that when we forgetting them? Okay, we get lost in the trees and can't see the forest. We can't stay there. We got to see the whole picture and see that, hey, it's our opportunity to actually bring ourselves together to heal. Because we don't heal, or we don't heal ourselves, how are we going to help the next generation? And that's what's happening right now. We hadn't been healing, and the next generation is falling apart. They see each other. They one against the other. Man versus Black man versus Black woman. And that narrative will not work. That is exactly what our enemy wants. They want us fractured. They want us apart. They want us to see each other as we can't live together and give different reasons why we can't do it. Multiple reasons why. And the biggest one is trust. So if you get hurt, you don't get back and say, what is that? You get back on the horse. You get back on the horse, but you get back, you use those lessons, those experiences that you gathered. You go to God and you get yourself healed. You go in and you look at yourself and see, hey, how can I do better? How can I see better? How can I discern better? That will get you in a better place to find the person that you're looking for. And then manifest. Because the manifest is our own creation. Because if you keep manifesting hurt, that's going to be your life. Your life is going to be your life. You're going to create your life. So you're going to create a life of hurt? Why would you want to do that? Why won't you create a life of healing, of joy, of peace, of love? So if you manifest that, hey, I'm going to have that instead of, hey, that person hurt me, I'm going to hurt you. And then all of a sudden you got a long trail and you wondering why your life is that way. And then you wake up one day and you're crying in your bed, in your sheet, in your pillow, and nobody's around and you're wondering why. There's so many people that are doing that right now. I've seen them every once in a while, even on social media. Every once in a while, you'll see somebody come out and show, and they'll cry in their pain and say, I was going through all of this. When they were smiling before, act like nothing was going wrong, and they were saying comments that was creating that atmosphere for themselves. And so now they get spiritually connected back with God, and then all of a sudden they start to heal. So we have to take the time to heal ourselves up so we can uplift not only ourselves, but others. Because that's the whole deal, right? To experience and lift up others. This ain't about you. It's about how you can help others. And if you're helping others, I promise you, you'll get help.
True. I definitely believe that. And I like what Blessing is saying. She shouted out saying men could help the situation by telling women that they are better than what they are doing. Yes,
yeah,
true. Absolutely true. But also we've seen where some women, and you're going to continue to hear me say some women, they try to push that narrative back, saying that a guy, trying to share with them certain things, even whether if it's their dress,